No, the nation does not have lottery fever. This is Wretched Radio, 1.67 whatever billion dollars. Somebody's got to win, which I wonder if it doesn't play into our pride. I mean, if anybody should win, it should be moi. Millions of people spending over $1.6 billion. I don't know what the numbers are on the lottery business, but if you can win 1.67, whatever it happens to be at the moment, supposedly money goes to education. It also needs to take care of all of that advertising you see for the lottery, its administrative staff, etc. So how much is being spent on the lottery? It's well over $1.7 billion. I'll bet it's pushing $3 billion taken out of the economy, spent mostly, and this is statistical, spent mostly by people who cannot afford it. Forget my observations. I was at the Kroger on Saturday. Wanted to return something, went to the customer stand, the customer service station. There was a huge queue. Long line of people, and everybody's got cash in their hand. Now, I grant you, we've all learned this lesson if you've been alive for longer than a couple of weeks. You can't always judge a book by its cover, that there are people who can be phenomenally wealthy, and yet they dress shabbily. But I'm looking at, these are just folks that you would not even say maybe are middle class. And they got the guy right in front of me, a $50 bill in his hand, a $50 bill. And his grandson is running around, and I'm thinking, you could spend that 50 on, I don't know, him. Millions, billions of dollars being siphoned off of a demographic that can't afford ridiculous get-rich-quick schemes like the lottery. Was at the gym, you could probably notice, and up on the TV screens, because let's face it, we can't be anywhere these days without a whole bunch of TV screens. Just even restaurants, doesn't matter, not just the bar in the restaurant, the restaurants themselves. You got to have a TV. I got to see what's going on. I've got to know. So it is at the gym. And because we're down south, Fox News is on most of the channels. But where you do the treadmill thing and you can plug in with your ears, however that works. But then there was CNN. And CNN's headline said, America catches lottery fever. No, they haven't. That's not biblical. I mean, that's a secular term. And once again, we need to take our Bible, lay it on top of this situation, and come up with a biblical diagnosis, because then we can find a biblical cure. The world, they can lecture all they want. Well, maybe you shouldn't be spending so much, but the odds are like 1 in 300 million that you're going to win. But again, because the marketing, I think, plays so into our thinking that we deserve to have $1 billion, somebody's got to win, so why not me? What's the biblical diagnosis of what's gripping America? Well, I don't know where you want to rank these in order, but I would suggest you've got yourself some covetousness going on, desiring to have more than what you currently have, and related to that, you've got blasphemy going on. Covetousness and blasphemy, I think, are directly connected, because what does covetousness ultimately say to God? You're not doing a good enough job, so I'm going to just take this into my own hands, because somebody's got to win, and it's going to be me, because what you have provided for me is not enough. I want to be careful that we understand it's okay to work hard, to make a nicer quality of living for you and your family. That's fine, but that's not what this is. This is $300, $400 million. You're doing a rotten job. That chair you're sitting on, off. It's mine. I think that's what covetousness is. I think Tim Challies recently was studying covetousness. It's worth going to his site, challies.org. Did more of a study on the sin of covetousness. It's far more profound than we tend to think. We kind of, it's way at the end of the commandments, which apparently we've unhitched these days. But We're way away from that 10th commandment, so it's not that big of a... Yes, it is. Furthermore, I think it's idolatry. I want that jackpot more than I want God, more than I want what he has chosen for me. It's not fever that has gripped the nation. It's sin that's gripped the nation, and this is just another manifestation of it. This is just another fruit of sinful people who don't love God above all things, who desire more than what they currently have, who don't think that God is a good provider, who want a get-rich-quick scheme, which is, by the way, the problem with the lottery is basically everything that I've just mentioned. It's a get-rich-quick scheme. That's forbidden in the Bible. Don't do wacky. Get to work. This is the Bible. This isn't me being a conservative Republican who wants to do away with the welfare system. No, that's what the Bible teaches. Not get rich quick. That's foolishness. You'll likely get scalded in that. Get to work. It's covetousness. It's greed. It's idolatry. It preys on the poor. Hold on. I got it for you. This is from... Speaking of Fox News, the only reliable source for news, lottery officials have not only made it harder to win, but have continued to lie to us about the benefits of the lottery. Interesting article from Fox News, a little inside peek. In an effort to draw more people to the lottery, Mega Millions decided to decrease each person's chance of winning in order to grow the jackpots. As the jackpots get bigger, more people are willing to buy a ticket. Interesting. Here's how it works. Before 2017, players picked 5 numbers between 1 and 75 and 1 number between 1 and 15. Now each player picks 5 numbers between 1 and 70 and then 1 number between 1 and 25. Do you see how your odds just went down exponentially? It increases someone's chance of matching 5 numbers and receiving some sort of prize while decreasing the chance of winning the whole shebang. So they spread it out so that people can win a little bit. I think they're trying to control the outcome of how wealth is disseminated. What's more, the price of the ticket has doubled. Did you know that? Nevertheless, here's the stats on Americans playing the lottery. About half of Americans play the lottery according to the most recent survey, compared to almost 70% in the 1980s. So the number of people is down, and the odds are lower. The cost is higher. Regarding lowest income households, they spend an average of $412 on tickets per year, more than 4 times the amount spent by the highest income households. Now, there's probably a lot of explanations for that, but that isn't the point that we're considering. This is a demographic that is lured into spending $412 per year. That is a lot of money. $412. Wow. That's shoes. That's jackets. That's food. It preys on the poor. Now, one other note from this article from Fox News about the Mega Millions jackpot. Were we not told that this was a way to benefit the American public by providing additional funding for education? That's what we're told. This report says most state legislators haven't been using the lottery money for additional educational funding. Little shell game going on. They're using it to fund the basic education budget and using the money that would normally fund education on other things, like overhead. As a result, public schools rarely get a budget boost. Everything about this thing is anti-biblical. So you've got a smaller chance of winning. The prices are higher. It preys on the poor. It's a get-rich-quick scheme. It's covetousness deluxe, which includes blasphemy and idolatry. That's what's gripping this country. So what do we do about this? What's the issue here? Well, I think for the Christians who are tempted to play this, I think a theology lesson might be helpful, like God is sovereign and he has you exactly where he wants you. And when he puts guardrails on how you go about making money by stating don't do get-rich-quick schemes, that's the end of the lottery. But what about people who are just covetousness? They're coveting. Well, they need to understand what a sin that is. It is a fist shake against God. You are doing a rotten job, deity. And to the world, what is the solution? All riches, all treasure, it is found in Jesus Christ. This is just another symptom of a lost culture, a broken down society that is wandering. They are straying away from their Maker. This is a fruit, but the root is a lack of salvation, a lack of good theology, a lack of good teaching, a lack of good preaching. This is an opportunity to share the gospel and to preach theology. This is Wretched Radio.